Welcome back. I was alerted that Kaon actually manufacture a rear parcel shelf, a lightweight parcel shelf. It does have a weight limit of roughly 10 kilos. That's a recommended weight limit. You could probably go over that a little bit, but it's mainly just to carry lightweight items, towels, blankets, jackets, lightweight chairs, even things such as foil, whatever you want to carry. There are a few different manufacturers out there that make rear parcel shelves, but what I found with the Kaon one here is it's relatively lightweight. The fact that you can mount it up high.
With this 4-door JK Wrangler, the shelf brackets are mounted to the roll cage. If I just unzip this cover, it'll show you where the bolt holes are. All nuts and bolts are supplied to fit this to the roll cage. 2 bolts that attach each bracket to the roll cage. Kaon do make other parcel shelves for other vehicles such as Toyota, Nissan, also the Suzuki Jimny, Pajero, and a couple other makes and models. I'll leave a link in the description and you can get on their website and see if it applies to you. Don't worry, instructions are supplied. Later in the video I'll show you how the parcel shelf actually bolts to the brackets, but basically each end has 2 bolts and nuts, which is 6mm, which are supplied of course, and they just simply bolt the shelf to the bracket. The shelf is about 1130mm long by about 390mm wide.
There are quite a few different mounting positions you can do it. You can actually buy 2 and mount them back to back, so one's high and one's low. I wanted a shelf that I could mount up high as I could to give us enough clearance below, because I do fold the seats down and sleep in the back from time to time. And I just wanted that flexibility so you could still move around when the seats are folded down when you're sleeping in there. Whatever your imagination can think up as to what you can do and attach underneath here.
Having the molly panel as part of the shelf creates endless possibilities to what you can attach underneath.
I just made a simple paper roll holder, carabiner and some elastic shot cord, but just a simple holder like this, and I can just clip that anywhere. You can see why it pays to have a paper towel holder. It's all the dirt and muck from rolling around in the vehicle. At least up here it's out of the way. I do want to hook some tent poles under here. I'm going to make a little bracket up. There's a couple little projects I want to do with this. But but having it up as I've got it in the highest position possible, and I've tilted it all the way forward so it is butted up against the roll cage.
Having the parcel shelf as close to the horizontal part of the roll cage as possible prevents any undue missiles coming forward.
What I'll do, I'll pull everything out of the shelf and just to show you how much stuff I can fit on the shelf, and then I'll pull the shelf out and you can have a look at it. So as you can see, it's turned into a bit of a TARDIS here, all the stuff that I had packed in the top shelf. I don't know how much it weighs, but it's definitely less than 10 kilos. But just any lightweight stuff is worth sticking up here out of the way. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just unbolt this and bring it out here and put it on the table so you can see it. I've just got a 10mm ratchet spanner. This is an all metal construction. It's powder coated steel. So being steel allows you to stick a magnetic light to it or anything magnetic. And this is the This is the actual box it comes in. The whole box with the shelf, everything. This box weighs 7 kilos. So I'll just run through the actual bare shelf itself is 4.34 kilos. That's the actual shelf. And these brackets here, they're quite heavy duty. Each one of those is 710 grams each. So the two of these brackets, you're looking at about 1.42 kilos. And then you've got about 8 bolts that come with it. And they're 77 grams. So this whole shelf for the brackets and bolts is about 5.8 kilos. With these with this situation where it's bolted to the roll cage here, you can actually flip these brackets and it'll actually, instead of being up high, you can bring the shelf down low.
These are the two nut and bolts that bolt the shelf to the roll cage bracket. It's a personal preference here whether you want your nuts facing in or out. When assembling, I only finger tightened all 8 bolts and then went round and tightened them all together with a spanner.
And then if you had another shelf like this, you can back to back, so you could stack the two shelves, have 2 different heights. You can actually position it forward and back. There is a few holes, different holes you can play with to move the shelf forward or backwards to your liking. You can see there's even bolt holes here, so you can bolt things to the underside. So what I'll do now, I'll attempt to bolt it back in. Normally you just put the 2 roll cage brackets in first, and then you bolt the shelf to it. Okay, with that installed, so what I tend to do is leave all the jackets and any light towels or clothing, put all your main objects in there, and then you can just use your jacket, towels or anything just to wedge everything in there, especially if you're going some really rough tracks. You can just wedge everything in there. I've still got enough more room for a few more jackets and stuff in there, or if you want to put a sleeping bag, and you can put I can put my magnetic light there if I need to. Depending on how high you mount your shelf and what you attach underneath the shelf can impact how much vision you've got looking through your center rear vision mirror here.